This is Lào Cai village in Sapa District, where Mrs. D, who is an expert hemp fabric weaver, has lived since she got married, and where she now has a hemp textile showroom and shop for tourists. Hemp has historically been an important fibre for producing cloth for Hmong in Sapa District, and it's required for different spiritual and cultural practices. Hemp fabric has retained its significance in life cycle events such as marriages, childbirth and funerals. It is also used in certain healing and shamanistic rituals, and is worn during New Year festivities. Although extremely time and labour intensive, Hmong women in Sapa District undertake the entire process of clothes making, from growing both the hemp for the cloth and indigo to dye it, to the production of thread. Women then weave this thread into cloth. This was traditionally done on a backstrap loom, but more often now is on a modern loom with 4 legs, like this one that Dee's husband made for her. Hmong families grow hemp in household gardens. It's planted in March or April, after the family has planted their corn crop for the year. The hemp plants grow until about July and are then cut and dried. And just a note, there's no point trying to smoke this plant. To harvest the hemp, the weather must be sunny and dry, otherwise the cut hemp will break very easily and will not make strong cloth. The hemp is dried for about 1 week, and then the fibres are stripped from the stems. The long strands are collected by hand in bunches, and the fibres are pounded with a stone to improve their flexibility. Then, women will wrap the strands around their waist and start to connect the fibres by carefully joining them and twisting them together. Often they'll do this en route to the market or as they chat with their friends. The fibres then go through a complex procedure of spinning on 2 different types of spinning machines to finally prepare threads of about 4 thread counts, or fibres twisted together. The threads are then boiled many times with water that's mixed with ash to bleach them, with one boiling also including beeswax to help with this bleaching process. The threads are then pressed between a stone and wood for the wax to be pressed into the fibre. Finally, the threads get put back again onto a large spinning wheel-like machine, like this one here, and from this bowls or buckets of the final fibre are carefully collected. Then it's put onto spools for the weaving process. Dee started preparing her hemp threads to load onto the loom rod, which is technically called the warp beam, and then onto her loom at 7 a.m. this morning. She uses a loom comb, which is also known as a reed in technical terms, to make sure that the threads do not tangle. This process takes quite some time, and some help is always appreciated. There are several superstitions about hemp weaving that Dee takes very seriously. One is that boys or men should not step over the hemp threads during this step of the process. If this happens, the threads will get tangled and will be very difficult to roll up.
She say it's like this 2% is very fast.
Ah.
After a while, Dee decides to change tack. to upload the warp threads of the hemp onto the beam more quickly. Dee gets her daughter to help her attach a wooden plank on her back. She then attaches her beam rotating device to this plank. Dee is able to roll the hemp much faster with this backstrap, but to do this she needs her daughter's help. Her daughter moves the combing the rods through the hemp threads to make sure that there are no tangles. Working together, Dee and her daughter create over 200 metres of warp thread in 3 hours. Next, Dee and her daughter loop the ends of the hemp warp through dozens of heddles in a shaft. The individual heddles in the shaft are used to separate the warp threads for the passage of the weft thread. The heddles in the shaft move the warp threads up and down on the loom. There are 2 different shafts for her loom. The next step is for the 2 women to pull the end of the hemp thread through the loom comb.
Finish. You hãy thả lên lửa nó ngon này.
Finally, the women load the loaded warp threads onto the loom. Everything then gets carefully secured into position.
Con cũng không phải trả sao nó cái lúc tôi mua là cho chị về luôn. Nó gì để sao rồi mà vô chị lo đi mà. Sao cũng
Dee uses hemp straws to weave a few times. She does this to make sure that the heddles have been threaded properly in the shafts and that there are no mistakes. If there is a problem, she must undo everything and start over. Luckily, today, everything is okay.
con là có giống thay rồi chỗ có giống này có tại vì nó đấy đây mà chỉ lo nói đi mua.
And what are those little wood pieces for?
That's just to try is good to weave it now, is enough or not yet. It's ready to weave or not yet.
Okay.
Because they don't need the thread, just the little hemp to try first. It will be easier to take it out.
Chị đó sau là chị cho nhà mỹ ta kia làm gì nó? Cho thật đấy. Tại vì chị phải bây giờ mình cho đấy. Lo.
And that's a little hemp thread?
Yeah, the hemp thread. Yes.
Next, she prepares the shuttle, loaded with hemp thread, and starts to weave. She moves the shuttle back and forth as her feet pedals move the heddles in the two shafts up and down. This creates the woven pattern. And then she's off.
Now start to weave now.
Cho lên tụi cha chứ nè. Dạ mò. Quá. Còn đi con người sáng rồi. Con người đi nó cả đã kéo xuống à. Cháu ấy chân xuống trong cả những ngày đi mà. Thì cho sang phố đang xuống gãy về. Lúc mình xuống đây là sang phố ạ. Sang phố đang gãy rồi.
Dee concluded our weaving discussions with this final comment. If you don't have hemp clothing, you cannot be Hmong. And if you don't know how to weave, you cannot be a good Hmong woman.